Hello, Fight Fan. This is Julio Gomez, your host at the Boxing Regular Fan JG4420. It's a channel that's strictly devoted to the boxing fan and the regular guys, maybe like you and me. You know, but it's not involved directly with the business of boxing, but we love boxing for whatever reason since our youth, if you will. Boxing is a great sport, but anyway, it's a great sport and it's practiced by millions of people around the world. What I would like to talk today, and I would like you guys to be part of the discussion, if you will. I would like to talk about what's the biggest fight. What fight we as a fan should be asking for? And I was looking through my books, my notes, and checking everything, and checking everybody that's all the top fighters nowadays, and all the multiple divisions that we have. And I haven't found yet, like right now it's not so obvious, you know, the match that we all want to watch. You know, for instance, I think there's only 3 main fight or event that might generate a lot of enthusiasm by all boxing fans around the world. And it would be a great pay-per-view, okay? I would say number 1, and in my list, the match that I would like to see, the fight that I would like to see. And they're not champion, but I think those two guys is going to, the enthusiasm of those two guys fighting is going to be off the charge. I have Vergil Ortiz versus Bud Ennis. I think the fight is the fight, that would be the fight of the year 2025. I don't see any other fight that would generate so much enthusiasm. And the reason why is because you got 2 guys here, 2 athletes, right about the same age. Skill-wise, they're almost matching. Power-wise, maybe 1 or 2, maybe Vergil has a little bit of advantage, but skill-wise, even though they're matched, I believe Bud Ennis has the upper hand. Bud is a real, you know, it's a real deal. You know, and that's a fight that people are gonna pay to watch. Because the fight that can be called pay-per-view, because nowadays it's a joke, really. Pay-per-view is like everybody, any 2 Class C fighters, they want to fight pay-per-view. You know, and you know, it's sometimes it's like an insult to us, the fan, because we say, how am I going to pay? You know, how am I going to pay $69 to watch this guy when I don't think those guys, you know, you already know who's going to win. All those guys are not at that level yet, you know, to attract, you know, enough enthusiasm and enough people around the world. But Vergil Ortiz versus Bud Ennis for sure is going to get a lot of attention. It's going to have a lot of buys, you know, and those two guys are going to make a lot of money, and we, the public, we, the fans, are going to be satisfied by the outcome for sure. Either way, and why not go for the next one? And like I said, you don't have to create a big event if you don't have. I mean, you don't have to have the belt to become a pay-per-view star. And this particular match will generate, you know, a lot of enthusiasm. That's for sure. Putting that aside, what would be the next fight that we as a fan would like to watch? Remember, those fights that we want to watch are the fight that, you know, we don't know for sure who's going to win. There's going to be enthusiasm between, you know, you're going to have 50-50, 60-40 of the fan, you know, and changing their opinions or having their own opinion about who's going to win the fight. the next big event that can happen at catch weight could be Tank Davis versus Inoue. That fight, no matter where it takes place, it can take place in Vegas or it can take place in Japan, it will generate millions and millions of people around the world. The interest of a lot of people around the world. They want to watch the fight. They will pay anything to watch. So even if it's not a 140, if they can come, if they can meet each other at 135, 138, and make the fight happen, that would be a great fight for 2025. That's to me the second fight in the market that can be put together, by a good promotion, by good promoters. Because those fights that I mentioned, the promoters are going to make money. Everybody's going to be making money. Because that fight is going to be jam-packed, whatever it takes place, and the pay-per-view is going to be pretty high. We're talking about perhaps 1 million. Tank Davis versus Inoue will at least be close to 1 million viewers. But Ennis versus Ortiz, maybe 600,000. Because they're not champion, there's still people around the world that don't know them too much. But just in America and Mexico and the surrounding areas, Canada, and some people in UK might definitely going to buy the fight. That can be a great mega fight. And like I said, and they're not champion yet. But once one of those two guys become, after the fight, they will become more recognizable around the world. And then perhaps I can attract Bud Crawford to go into a fight one of those two guys, which, Bud Crawford has definitely, avoiding those guys, but you can't blame Bud for not taking the risk with those guys. I would have done the same thing, or anybody else for that matter. I mean, for the way I understand that Bud has seen this stuff here, is and he's right. For him to be where he is, Bud Crawford had to sacrifice a lot. He has been kind of neglected, rejected, avoided, and everything that he has earned has been to sweat and blood. All the championships this guy has won, everybody has been, they never give Bud Crawford a chance. Spence, for the Spence, it was a 60-40. People said they're gonna walk by him, And Crawford keep showing the world that it's a real deal. So why risk everything with guys that there's a chance that they can be beaten? Bud Ennis versus Crawford, at least, if you think calmly and collectively, you might say Bud Ennis has the upper hand. 55, 45. Or 50-50 at best. This is how risk that fight with Bud Ennis is. With Vergil Ortiz, I think Bud Crawford will have a better chance. I would say 60-40. For some reason, I can't visualize Vergil Ortiz beating Crawford. Anything in boxing, anything can happen in boxing. And so you can never say anything, Boxing, this is the beauty of the sport. If you make a mistake and the guy capitalizes your mistake, or you can get hit, flush, a couple of times you might lose a fight by knockout, by KO, You can be the greatest, the best. You can have the best kills, the pound per pound. But Inoue was dropped the other day by a guy that, come on. I never gave this guy a chance to drop Inoue. But the mistake of the guys is you start trading punches with a guy that has punching skills. It's a mistake. You got to pull back, Now that you drop the guy, keep doing something else so you can win the fight. But anyway, I don't want to get off the subject. So there's a second fight that I think will generate a lot of enthusiasm. The third one, which people have been talking about, and there's $200 million on the table, and this guy say no, and this guy say yes, I'm never going to fight you, whatever. Will be Canelo versus Benavidez. That fight will generate a lot of enthusiasm because a lot of people think that the Mexican monster can defeat the Canelo. I mean, if you ask me, my humble opinion, I mean, I don't think Benavidez really, would beat Canelo. His style's been fight, and Benavidez, as good as his record is, Benavidez still, from my evaluation of Benavidez, he's a value puncher. He throws a lot of punches. He's very fast, not too aggressive, but he go after you all the time with the value punches and speed. He has a speed, tremendous speed for his weight class. He's a tall guy. I mean, Benavidez can easily be, if he wants to, he can be a heavyweight. I mean, cruiserweight for sure. Heavyweight can be his ultimate goal, but he can do it because of his height and his body structure. But anyway, Canelo will, in my opinion, will handle Benavidez. Because Benavidez has a lot of defense flaws, and Canelo got to be careful because Canelo has a good chin. And with somebody with a good chin and good skills like Canelo, his chances to winning are pretty high. Because if the guy that you're fighting hits you flush, and you can take the punch. Now the question remains, can the guy take my punch? So if Canelo can take a couple punches in his jaw and his body and continue after you, and hit you with only one or two good shots, that he's masterful over the years. Everybody knows what the shots are, but it seems to me like he's only finding his way to go through the difference of his opponent and winning. Lately, not by knockout. I think Canelo now is in declining mode. I think Canelo can be, if he can fight a guy that has great skills, boxing skills, and smart, and not get intimidated by Canelo, that guy can really, take care of Canelo. I mean, you don't have no more Triple G's. Triple G's was a special fighter. I mean, I don't see anybody up there that can have the same skills, same power as Triple G. So Canelo's basically flying his own motion. He doesn't have anybody that can challenge him. And I don't think Canelo versus Bud would generate that much enthusiasm. And I'm saying this because a lot of people like myself, which respect and have Crawford as the #1 pound per pound in the world. But it is a big difference of you going up in class 14 pounds and top of what you already are. You weigh 154. And muscles, as you know, that would not help you sometimes as you're gaining weight. Can you gain enough muscle to reach the 168 without looking fatty? Because sometimes, if you put too much muscle, you might be slowing yourself down. If you ever box in your life, like I have done it, and if you ever practice any sport, when you gain gaining weight is, even muscle weight, is slowing you down. Those boxers that become muscular, like Anthony Joshua, I don't know if that's an advantage. I always disagree. Having muscle doesn't mean that you're gonna have power. You can gain power by speed, mass and acceleration. It's gonna give you force. And the speed, if you increase the acceleration, you can increase the power, you're gonna increase the power. So muscles is not. So Bud Crawford against Canelo 168 is not going to be a fight that I would say will generate enthusiasm in a lot of people. Now, don't get me wrong, the fact that you're talking about Bud Crawford, a guy that has great skills, why not pay to watch this guy? I mean, boxing is a sweet science and art. So you see guys, you appreciate guys like Bud Crawford in the ring performing. It's like a live show. Same thing with Lomachenko. Those guys that you can pay to watch. some of the guys are good to watch. Inoue is good. Tank Davis is another one that you can watch perform. In the high stages, and they will not disappoint you. In summary, what I think the best three fight that generate the best enthusiasm and kill the record, break all the record in pay-per-view, and people will talk about this for years. It'll be the three fight that I think should happen in 2025. And any good promoter out there that, maybe Top Rank, PBC, now the network like Netflix is putting fight now. They get into the business of boxing. So those guys at Netflix or Prime Video, can try to put one of the fight together. We're going to be happy for 2025. First fight, I would say that generate a lot of enthusiasm. Buenis versus Virgil Ortiz is going to be my choice number one. Number two, I would say Inoue versus Tank Davis. That can be also the number one choice. That fight will also generate a lot of enthusiasm with a catch weight. And finally, Canelo, and the third place will be Canelo versus Benavidez. This, just people want to watch that. For many years, they think that Benavidez can whack Canelo, and that of course remains to be seen. And for all these three fights, it would be great for us, the boxing fans, right? So, having said that, I want to thank you for, giving me the time of the day to if you're listening, if you're watching the show, thank you for your time. And let's talk about boxing, which is a sport that we all love, And don't forget, if you're the first time, if you're catching this on YouTube, just to subscribe to our channel. Our channel is